once upon a time, there was a little band known as the Beatles, and there was a little video game known as Rock Band. And now they're getting together, according to Chris Foster, who's the lead designer on the, oddly enough, titled The Beatles Rock Band. What's the deal?
Well, I think we got the Beatles in Rock Band, at last I checked. What we're doing is we're telling the story of the Beatles using sort of rock playing gameplay and technology. We've got some really cool new tweaks on it. We're telling the story in a cool way that we're going to talk about later. Right now we've got 3-part vocal harmonies. Up to 3 people can grab microphones and either sing the same part karaoke style, or they can totally get into perfect harmonies, or relatively perfect harmonies. Also, we go through all the venues that they have, that their classic venues: Cavern Club, Sullivan Theater, Shea Stadium, Budokan, and then the rooftop where it all ended. But during the middle of there, when they stopped touring, we go into Abbey Road Studios for recording sessions with the Beatles. You hear outtakes from them before they started recording, and then once the song starts, we get taken to this other place, what we call a dreamscape. Sort of a psychedelic vision of an interpretation of the song, and those are really fun to create.
All right, but the Beatles themselves were involved, at least the surviving ones. I don't know if you guys have been working the Ouija board to get with Lennon, but the surviving Beatles have been involved in its creation. So Yoko Ono and Denny Harrison, George's son, of course, has had some input. What have they done for the game?
Well, yeah, Denny Harrison was actually one of the guys who first evangelized it to Apple Corps and who we call the shareholders, Paul and Ringo and Olivia and Yoko. Then they all came on board as creative partners, so they were approving the song choices, the venues we went to. They saw storyboards of the dreamscapes and gave their sort of feedback on how we were interpreting the songs. You know, they really kept us honest in terms of making sure that we captured the spirit of the Beatles in terms of gameplay and in terms of presentation.
All right, so what type of music is going to be on here? You're going to be able to download the entire Abbey Road album, plus All You Need Is Love. I hear you guys are going to be spending big on the profits, going to be popping champagne, right?
Well, you know, honestly, we think it's going to be successful, but what I personally cared about was making a game that was true to the Beatles and true to their music. And because the music's joyful, playing Rock Band is joyful, bringing those two together and just making people happy, watching people play the game here at E3 and seeing them smile has just been one of the best things.
And it doesn't just stop at what's in the box, right? There's downloadable content.
Absolutely, yes. We're gonna have downloadable album. We've announced is Abbey Road's coming soon, and then All You Need Is Love is going to be exclusive to Xbox Live, and all proceeds from it are going to Doctors Without Borders, which is a really great charity.
And the game's coming out September 9th, yeah?
Yes, 9909.
99009. Appropriately, strangely enough, when the Beatles remastered catalog, same day it hit stores. Whose doing was that?
I have no idea, but man, is that going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's totally psychedelic. I mean, it's so weird, that cosmic coincidence, right? So tell us, what was it like working with the Beatles?
It was terrifying and awesome and mind-blowing. I actually had some of the material in the game that I did personally fact-checked by Sir Paul. I had to sit next to him as he sat on the couch in Abbey Road Studios looking at stuff saying, yeah, that was pretty good, and then, no, that's wrong. And then like explaining like how, you know, certain things, telling us stories that like, I don't know anyone had heard before.
Is this going to extend the band's appeal, do you think, to an entirely new audience? Because obviously we're spending over 30 years of content.
Well, it's interesting to me how much I think people of all ages are already Beatles fans, 8-year-olds, 11-year-olds. Like, it just seems to be the air we breathe. It's just everywhere. So I wouldn't presume to say that we're introducing the Beatles to anyone, but I think it's going to get people to take a second look and a second listen to their music. Rock Band's great at getting people to understand how songs are put together, like experiencing the bass line, the guitar line, the drums, the vocals independently. And with this, I think even people who really know and love these songs, or people who have only heard them casually on the radio, they're going to really understand how they're really pop masterpieces and how they came together.
And how many people can get in on the action and actually form online bands?
I can actually have up to 6 people playing, because we have up to 3 people as the vocals, as sort of like a choir. But if you want a real challenge, you'll have like fewer people, like maybe 3 people, each with an instrument and each with a microphone, singing and playing at the same time as like rubbing your head and patting your tummy while driving a speeding train. It's just an incredible experience that is really, really fun, a good challenge.
And speaking of incredible experiences, what controlled substances were consumed during the making of the game?
Lots of Diet Mountain Dew in my case. Not much more than caffeine. No, there was definitely a few. There's this really good bottle of scotch that the project lead brought to the project once, but I can't really talk about that more than that.
That was supposed to be a rhetorical question, but hey kids, you know what? Check out the Beatles Rock Band coming 9909. Josh, lead designer from Harmonix, thanks for coming to talk to us.